What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon, and it's a Monday, which can mean only one thing. We're going to be taking a look at the world rankings to see what has shifted up due to those games of the Rugby Championship on the weekend. Then we're going to go over to the Super Brew. We're going to take a look at the predictions you guys have done along with myself. How well did we get on from maybe some surprising results on the weekend? Then we're going to be taking a look at the fantasy teams and going over the team of the week. What was the best team you could have gone for? Not mine is the answer. I had a couple of players certainly letting me down, but let's start out with the world rankings to kick us off. South Africa getting their win over Australia sees them gain nothing. They won, but they're still staying out there on that 93.11. The big drop though, didn't see this one coming. Argentina beating New Zealand. New Zealand playing at home as well, so they dropped down by 2 points. That gap is opening up. It is now very much a first and second place out there in the world with South Africa and Ireland. New Zealand dropping down 2. They've still got a bit of breathing room before France, to be fair, but there's certainly a much larger gap now separating them out from the top 2. Argentina taking that 2 points away from them means they will climb up to 83.64, so they jump over Scotland up into 6th place. I don't really know if there was anything else going on in the world. I don't think there was. There wasn't. That's all we've got to talk about in terms of the world rankings. But Australia, of course, going to be holding out in that 9th. They haven't lost anything from that game. So still staying in the top 10. Fiji aren't, they're a little bit of a gap behind them, but still a bit of a distance away from Wales yet. So even if they end up losing points over the course of this tournament, I think they should still be looking to finish in the top 10. Moving on to the Subaru then. Predictions. Only 2 games to talk about, which is kind of nice for the Rugby Championship. We get to go through them slightly quicker. Cannot believe, you can see at the top here, only a couple of people got both games right. I think that New Zealand-Argentina game threw a lot of people out. Starting off with the Australia-South Africa game, I said South Africa by 22. For my prediction, they eventually took it by 26. So I managed to get in there. It looked like actually a lot of people went much lower scores. There was a whole thing about South Africa not winning in the Australian ground since 2013. There was a lot of that going on. I never really pay a lot of attention to that. I take it very much on form when I go for predictions. I thought South Africa were taking this all day long, but some people went lower on the scoreboard. A couple of people did go for Australia. Octal Microbe and Illegal Kiwi went for Australia, but not to be this time, guys. We'll scroll down and see where you want it to be. Here's going to be 0.5s. There's me. Taking a half a point from this. You want it to be here. Big Brain. Oh, here he comes again. He's back in the Subaru. He's going to start getting amazing picks every week. Joins Milan on getting the 26 points. Bang on you guys sharing that half bonus point. Big Brain has been a thorn in my side in the Subarus in past. Absolute monster at it. But congratulations to the both of you guys for splitting that half bonus point. In the second game then, New Zealand, Argentina. Man, I was confident. I said New Zealand by 24. I think in the preview video I said 20, and then I like moved it up a bit just before locking it in. I was like, oh, I kind of felt like they would take something from it. Opening 20 minutes, I thought, I think this is on. I think I'm on to do pretty well here. And then Argentina started playing the rugby we know they can do, and coming away with an 8-point win over New Zealand. Superb by them. Some people went even further out than me. Pedri, Milan, you guys are up there for the big scores. Where did you want to be? Did anyone go for the Argentina? I think I saw a couple. 2 people went for Argentina. Ian coming in with Argentina by 6 takes just basically the full contingency of points single-handedly there. Foster King doing well to also go for Argentina. Thought actually quite confident Argentina. 14's a lot, but it was Ian who takes the big points from there. So we can jump straight over to the leaderboard because it's round 1. So the round and the leaderboard is exactly the same. So Ian, straight in that top spot, mate. I've seen you down in the comment section before. I know you've, I think you won one of the predictions once, didn't you? But coming in strong for a great opening week with that Argentina pick sees you out there 2 from 2, 3.5 as a total score, and only 2 games every week. There's not a lot of big points to take. It's not like the summer internationals where there's 8 games you can make a huge comeback. Every point really matters in this, so coming out strong. Foster King coming in second place on that 2.5. Big Brain and Milan both on 2 points. That's sort of joint third place. David, Joey Barton, Highland Cow, myself, Villa Farrell, JP Madoff, Geo Moore, 11 Rugby, Foot Yeezy, and Finn the Russell Hustle, and Pedri, all of us on 1.5, separated only by that TDM. I'll take 8th, because for anyone who was taking part of the Summer Internationals saw me finish 50-something. Right now, 8th is looking good. I'll take 8th as it stands. Let me have a bit of a scroll down and see some of you other guys who haven't seen their name. There's Bears Gamer, another YouTuber coming in with only the 1 pick this week. Getting correct. Connor does rugby, another YouTuber. David Wakefield, about a good summer tour, unfortunately, down there in the 32nd for our opening round of this one. Tate McDermott fan has got a loading symbol? I don't know what that means. He's so good at the picks, he's not quite loaded them in yet. I don't know what that means. Maybe that'll change by round 2. And Octal Microbe, unfortunately, down there with your wooden spoon for the opening round, buddy. But congratulations to Ian on taking the round and top of the leaderboard for round 1. On to the fantasy. Boy, oh boy. An interesting round. There was like, I don't know, 4 players who scored massive, and then everyone else was kind of average to below average. So as long as you got the big guys, you were shooting up there. We'll take a look at the team of the week in a second. Let's just have a quick look, see who did end up taking the round. David comes in on 179, which is actually a really good score. 200 is like, I consider like, that is a good score in the fantasy, considering how few people there were scoring big points this week. 179 still absolutely solid. Villa Farrell's always down in the comment section on these videos, comes in on 176, a great second place for you, Villa Farrell. And then Avalon and Foot Easy separated only by a point there for third place. Dave 61. We got a few Davids in the group. I like this. We got a lot of Davids going on. On 169.5, only just behind. Pierre Azevedo, 166. Brumby's all the way on 163.5, joint with a tie. Big Brain coming in there, did well in the Predictor. Also now in 9th for the fantasy as well. And then David Wakefield sealing out that top 10 on 161. The fantasy team, who did you want to go for? Now, unfortunately, Superbrew hasn't done that thing where they came out with a team. I really like the team, so I'll read them off for you guys. The props you wanted to go for: Thomas Gajo from Argentina coming in on 9, who was someone I did have. Australian forwards was something you wanted to be looking at. Not what I thought I was going to be saying. I expected South African forwards to monster that game and score massive points, but the replacements for South Africa came on and ruined all their points. They started losing lineouts. They started losing their own scrums. So basically, all of the South African forward, bonus points they sort of get, hemorrhaged. So South African forwards weren't the way to go. Australia was the way to go. So Kylia comes in on 6.5 for the props. For Australia is your other best prop to go for. In your hooker, Fassler from Australia as well on 6.5 was your best hooker of the round. In your locks, Nick Frost came in on 9 points, even though I had Darry from New Zealand who scored a try, and he still didn't manage to overtake that. Molina from Argentina scored you 11.5 to lock out your lock department, so it's all Australia and Argentina so far. Your best back rows, Peter Steph Dutoy was outright just the best on 18.5, a great game by him. Khaleesi came in on a 13.5 as well, and then Valentini was joint with Ardi Salvea on 11.5, so any of those guys would have been the way to go. Your best scrum half of the round, Cobus Reinach, coming in there on 7.5. Everyone else scored relatively low in the scrum half department. Fly half, if you had him as a kicker, Santiago Carreras was your best fly half, who would have scored you 27 points without kicking. He only scored you 9. Best fly half without kicking was Damien McKenzie on 9.5, but only scored 24 as a kicker. So depending on if you had him as kicker or not, would be, who was the best fly half for you. Best centre partnership, Anton Linnert Brown coming in on 12.5 and Lucio Cinti on 11.5. And then your back three, Mateo Carreras got 13, Juan Cruz Malia got 11.5, and Curtly Arensa on 28. That was the boy you wanted. Very annoyingly, as I'll scroll through the names that you guys can see where we all end up, because we did the top 10. Very annoyingly, before the round kicked off, I was having a look at my team and was sort of thinking, do I actually want like a South African winger? I was trying to, in my head, decide who I would want to go for. I thought I'd rather go for Arensa than Colby, because I think the number 11 did pretty well in the summer internationals going up against Australia. But I didn't know who to get rid of. I was like, I think the South African forward's going to be great. So I loaded up on my South African forwards, and I didn't know really where I was going to go with it, because I wanted Feinberg and Gomazulu. I thought he would do well as the fly half. I thought maybe more kicks. Cobus Reinach ended up being the best scrum half. And I thought all my South African forwards would get loads more points from scrums and lineouts, and scrums won on the opponents. So I ended up not going with that decision, and looking at it now, going for Tom Wright when I was really thinking about putting Arensa in there has pained me a great deal in this one, which is a bit of a shame, but I'll have to have a bit of a rethink for that one. So scrolling down to the bottom, unfortunately a couple of guys not getting their picks in there. Where did I end up in the end? I was 15th on 141.5. So there's already like a 40-point gap, which I've got to try and make up to get back up towards the top spot. But congratulations to David on taking the round and the top of the leaderboard at the end of round 1. And a quick shout out to Chris for going over to the Buy Me a Beer page. He's bought me 3 beers over on there. So thank you very much for that, Chris. We've got the Rugby Championship, of course, coming up again this weekend. I'll be cracking into a couple of beers myself. Always thank you to anyone who does support the channel financially. Obviously, we're not some mega channel that is crushing it in terms of a job or anything. This is a part-time hobby. So thank you to everyone who does support the channel. I know David Wakefield's been a long time Patreon who does so well in the Subaru as well. But thank you to Chris for going over and showing some support for the channel. A bit of love. Always appreciated, mates. And now we'll see us out for our opening round of the Rugby Championship, guys, because it's a much shorter tournament. We get to condense these down into a much shorter video, which I do like. Gonna have some more thoughts about my fantasy team, I think, going into next week. Over the course of this week, of course, we've got the Rugby 22 games. I've already set them to upload over the course of like Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to do more preview videos when it comes out for the team announcements on Thursday and stuff. So make sure you are keeping an eye on the channel to get all your latest information. I hope you've all enjoyed this one today, guys. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.